From the Center for Investigative Reporting and PRX, this is Reveal. I'm Michael Schiller, in for Al Letson. Right now, there's only one form of psychedelic-assisted therapy that's legal in the United States. It's with ketamine, a drug that was made in a lab and started out as an anesthetic. Eventually, ketamine found its way to the streets as a party drug, but it wasn't banned, even though it can be dangerous if abused. Over time, researchers discovered that its psychedelic effects can help with treatment-resistant depression and other mental health issues. In recent years, ketamine therapy has blown up in popularity, with hundreds of in-person and virtual clinics operating across the U.S. It's been reported that some patients are being overprescribed and becoming dependent on the drug. But ketamine has also led to relief that's been life-changing for many suffering with depression and anxiety. We wanted to know more about how it works, which is how reporter Jonathan Davis met a woman in California named Dede, who's been going through ketamine-assisted therapy. He stopped by the hair braiding studio she owns in Oakland.
Hello. What's up? I am recording, getting the sounds and scenes of the shop, but it's only audio.
We need our own beauty salon podcast, okay?
Dede's hair shop is her pride and joy, a place she's built from the ground up.
My whole thing is like natural hair, curly, wavy, just taking care of healthy hair. I've kind of carved out a niche for myself, and it's just been like nonstop with clientele.
Dede's business has done well, but she's had personal challenges along the way. She struggles with depression and anxiety that stem from some hard life experiences, including abuse as a child. So we're just using her first name in this story. For years, Dede tried to work through mental health challenges on her own, but eventually realized she needed help. She came across a psychedelic therapy clinic in Berkeley called Sage Integrative Health, and a therapist there named Genesee Herzberg.
She had heard about psychedelic-assisted therapy and was interested in it. So I let her know that I could offer ketamine-assisted therapy. And she expressed interest, but also some hesitations.
So Dede and Genesee started slow, spending over a year together doing regular therapy and building trust. Dede sometimes shared about those experiences at the shop.
We do talk about a lot of racial stuff, you know.
Is she white?
She white.
Okay.
And she'll be like, is it weird talking about this to a white woman? And my response to her was like, you not a white woman, you my white woman.
Yeah.
Dede and Genesee eventually began working with ketamine, and Dede decided to share part of her journey with us.
So I felt like it was important to share my story because my community needs healing, and because a lot of us are entrenched in trauma and don't even know it. I am telling my story for women and people like myself that don't know about these type of modalities. The messages don't trickle down the same way to the Black and Brown community. And so I just wanted to lend my voice for them and for anyone, but particularly them. My work with Genesee began during the pandemic. So we meet virtually for all of our sessions. And the ketamine I use is in a lozenge form.
Question for you. When you have the lozenge in your mouth, do you want to listen to music? Do you want silence?
Should we start the music?
Sure. I'll set the timer for 15 and yeah, you can go ahead and put it in.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Genesee and I sit quietly and wait for the lozenge to dissolve. It tastes horrible, like battery acid and cough syrup mixed together, and we have to wait the whole 15 minutes for it to dissolve.
Got about a minute left.
My first ketamine session was absolutely beautiful. It was amazing. The second one was getting into heavy stuff. It was a little more difficult for me. And going into the third one, I'm here for whatever happens at this point, good or bad.
Okay, go ahead and swish it around in your mouth. And then when you feel ready, swallow.
Hard shot. So hard. I feel like it's starting.
Yeah. What are you noticing?
Just a little tingling.
Mm-hmm.
The ketamine seems to create some kind of buffer for me to look at my trauma safely and be able to talk about it. So that's where I get lost in the sauce because I feel inherently good, but I feel like there's so many bad things on me. A lot gets unpacked in these sessions. I'm so thankful for my husband because I feel like he gifted me some secure love attachment. And so I want to give people safety. It hasn't been an easy journey. When I was 25, my husband of 6 years was robbed and killed. But a lot of my pain also comes from my childhood. I grew up in a poor and violent household. My parents were beyond rough with each other and often violent and careless with us kids. Also, when I was a little girl, I was left in the hands of a family babysitter where I was sexually abused. And it's in this session that I have a big realization about that trauma. And just a heads up, it's pretty intense. When I told my mom that someone was touching me, my mom beat me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's other things wrong with me. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that to a 7-year-old? You knew something had to be going on because you always question me. And I'm always lying, saying, no, nobody's touching me. Why did I lie? Like, who was I trying to protect? That I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to value other people's lives over my life. That's why I'm doing this, because I know this stuff was kind of like ingrained in me, but it doesn't feel like who I am. After the journey ends, I'm coming down, I'm trying to relax and get back to normal for the rest of the day. The next few sessions I have with Genesee are non-ketamine sessions, and in those sessions, we discuss what happened during the ketamine session and figure out how to integrate those experiences back into my real life.
I'm curious what you've noticed since the ketamine session.
I feel boosted. I do feel generally boosted. How the session ended is kind of what carried me for the remainder of the month.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's been a few weeks since my last ketamine session, and now it's time for another one. I have the ketamine in my mouth, and about 15 minutes have gone by.
When you feel ready, you can swallow.
I think I'm going to start playing this music at the shop.
Yeah.
To see if it has a effect. It's so funny how the music can work with the medicine at times. This session gets really deep really fast, and I start talking to Genesee about how people often perceive me as one way, but I see myself completely different. I don't know how I'm able to be generally happy, but then the flip side is that I'm generally sad. But like most people don't get that. I think one of the things I cultivate in people is like hope or something.
Mm-hmm. Can you see the part of you that other people see?
No.
Uh-huh. Let's drop in and either open up to the question of what's underneath this feeling of being a failure, or open up to the question of how can I see myself how other people see me?
Yeah, it's like feeling like a failure. It's like the bottom basement. And so it's like I try to do all these things, and then stuff comes back down to the bottom basement. There's like nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm always trying and trying and trying and trying and trying.
It's literally exhausting.
Yeah. Do you feel like I see the ways that you're struggling?
No, I don't even think you see it. Yeah, because you say things like, oh, but, you're managing a lot and it takes a lot to run a business and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, that stuff is true, but I'm still failing at all of those areas.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you a little bit about my experience?
Sure.
Because I find myself feeling pulled to counter the part of you that feels like you're failing. I get protective.
Yeah.
And I want to defend you against that part. But I see that that's actually, it's not helping. You actually, you need to be seen in the ways that you're struggling. And I actually do see how hard it's been. I'm sorry that I haven't made that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've got just a few minutes. How are you feeling right now?
Genesee, how do you do this?
Do what?
For everybody.
Hold space like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I mean, you do something pretty similar, I think.
Oh, you're right. That's funny. You're right.
Our session is winding down now. And I feel so grateful that Genesee and I are able to get real with each other like this. And I love that she just pointed out that I do often hold space for others at the shop.
We definitely be therapists sometimes. Oh, Jesus. We have clients, some clients have illnesses. We have people talk about their relationships. Yeah. Some clients, we talk about our traumas. And sometimes we get into it with the clients because we have different opinions. And I'm like, this is an open forum. Whatever you can say.
It's a few weeks later, and I'm ready to dive deeper into my emotions and get to the root of my pain. This is going to be the highest dose of ketamine that I've ever taken.
All right. So we're going to do 1.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I start the music now?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
The medicine is coming on pretty strong, and I'm feeling some challenging emotions come up. I feel sadness about the loss of my husband, and I feel impatient, just wanting to be healed already.
And it's just like, when is the person of myself, when is that person going to be here? When am I going to save myself? When is she coming? When is she coming? I've learned that, no one is going to come.
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to come.
Yeah. Imagine there's a lot of grief there about that.
Yeah, because I wish he was here. It would not be like this if he was here.
Yeah.
But I got to let that go. I had to let that go. But I miss him so much. He hasn't been here since 2007. But if he was here, everything would be okay.
Yeah.
And when I connect the pain to how it feels in my body, that's when I feel like I'm going to die. I don't know why the room just got spinny.
Yeah, you might want to lie down.
Yeah, it's pillow time. Release. I want to be like a snake. Sounds crazy. That releases its old skin. I want to release all the pain. I've been holding on to all this pain my whole entire life. I need some pain relief too. Wash over me, relief. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. What I'm seeing in my head is so beautiful.
What are you seeing?
This beautiful vision God is giving me is like medicine. I can't describe it. It's bright, but it's earthy. It's like dry, but not the bad parts of dry. And it's humid without the bad parts of humid. Thank you, Lord. Oh, God, thank you, Lord. It feels so good. It's like real medicine. Let's heal the broken heart.
Let's heal the broken heart. Let's heal the broken heart. This session is a huge session for me. I had an overwhelming feeling come over me that I struggle to put into words. It's a deep feeling of all these trapped emotions of grief and sadness, all of these things that I've cut off from myself. I'm able to look at it. I'm able to see it. I'm able to feel it. And I'm able to release and let it go.
Dede did a few more ketamine sessions with Genesee, but over the last year, they've gone back to doing regular therapy. Partially because of the cost, mostly because Dede wanted time to really integrate her insights from the ketamine back into her life. And now she's focused on the next chapter, opening up a new salon. She showed it to Jonathan a few weeks back.
So this is the one that'll be my dream shop, basically. Let's see if it's open. The pink keys are for this one. Everything is color-coded.
The new shop is much bigger than the old one and will offer a full-service salon for women with natural, wavy, and curly hair. It also has space that she'll lease out to other businesses, all predominantly serving women of color in her neighborhood.
This is the main salon. As you can hear the echo, it's huge.
This is amazing.
Isn't it amazing? So my ketamine journey opened the door for me to go into the basement and deal and work on those things. You know, I still struggle with this fear of failure, but if you would have asked me before I took ketamine, I didn't even know that I struggled with that. I just felt bad all the time. And so the ketamine really gave me the ability to sit with those things. You know, I feel more empowered to work on these things within myself.
Dede says she's interested in doing more ketamine therapy soon, but in person this time because she wants to try to go even deeper. Before we go, an important reminder that psychedelic drugs are powerful and can be dangerous. They should not be used without first consulting a mental health professional. That story was produced by Jonathan A. Davis. He and I are the lead producers of this week's show. The editor is Taki Telenides, thanks to the Carter Center's Benjamin von Sternenfels Fellowship for Mental Health Reporting, and to David Boyer, Ben Trefny, and Ethan Rocky. Nikki Frick and Rosemarie Ho are our fact-checkers. Victoria Baranetsky is our general counsel. Our production managers are Zula Macab and Stephen Rascon. Score and sound design by Jim Briggs and Fernando Arruda. Our CEO is Robert Rosenthal. Our COO is Maria Feldman. Our interim executive producers are Brett Myers and Taki Telenides. Our theme music is by Camerado Lightning. Support for Reveal is provided by the Riva and David Logan Foundation, the Ford Foundation, the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, the Jonathan Logan Family Foundation, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the Park Foundation, and the Hellman Foundation. Reveal is a co-production of the Center for Investigative Reporting and PRX. I'm Michael I. Schiller, and remember, as Al Letson likes to say, there is always more to the story.